Hello, good morning. It is currently the next day, so I'm leaving for this bachelorette party in about an hour and a half. I made the executive decision to not do the workout today for two reasons. Number one, it felt way too rushed just on my end for like my mental health and overall sanity of like a travel day to go to a bachelorette party. Number two, I also just think the quality of the video would be rushed. So I am planning to film this on Sunday when I get back. If I'm too fatigued, we're gonna have a skip day. We're gonna film it on Monday. Again, I'm not concerned. I take a day off, I take a day off. It's free content, doesn't matter. But I figured I would at least film a little bit of content as I'm on the way to Cape May, because I know a lot of you guys like these videos, not only for the review, but also for like some of the behind the scenes. So we'll put some bachelorette party content in here, and then I will see you back either on Sunday or Monday. Who knows? Thank you guys so much. Hello, everybody. So by the time you're seeing this, if you've been following along, you know that I did skip an upload yesterday. Not to harp on it too much, I got the flu, I had to take a day off from filming, and even though I was 4 days ahead, that was because I had what you just saw this weekend, a bachelorette party. I easily, well, not easily, I could have gotten home yesterday and like done the workout, filmed and edited the video, but I really didn't want to. A few people pointed this out, but I think that, especially for me, it's really important to find that line of like staying committed to things and sticking to what I say I'm gonna do versus like pushing through and sacrificing my health. Because really what I needed yesterday after a weekend of like very minimal sleep and like ingesting toxins in my body all weekend, I just needed some time on the couch. So thank you for understanding. I don't think anyone's upset. We're gonna move on, and now we are going to review a bar workout. So today we are doing a workout from Barre Eclipse. The Barre Eclipse method is a rhythmic, fun, low impact, badass workout that intuitively and intelligently exercises your entire body with empowerment and grace. Now, like I said, when I picked this workout out of the bowl, Adrienne and I are mutual friends on TikTok, and she fights a lot of the stuff within bar marketing that really like gets under my skin. Because if you look at all of these words that she's used, rhythmic, fun, low impact, badass, intuitive, intelligent, empowerment, grace, like all of these things very much align with what I'm trying to do, just in a different method. I always say that the Fit Club is your all access pass to functional movement, and my goal is to make you stronger and smarter. So it's all of these things of like, I want to make you strong, I want to make you empowered, I want to make you understand why you're doing what you're doing. There's none of this like dancer arms, long lean limbs, tone and slim, like none of that. Finding power through your movement, especially as a woman, I think is very important. It's important for everybody, but not to get into like a history lesson. Women have not always been made to feel like they're powerful. Let's talk about the day quickly. So it's like 9:15. Got up at 8. My first client is virtual at 11, and then we're gonna do this bar workout. Then I'm going to a gym in my neighborhood to train my next clients. I have another virtual client, and then we have a holiday hits themed dance cardio class tonight. Oh, and then I have to edit this, and then go birds. We're gonna put dry shampoo in our hair because, and get dressed. Great. I'll see you in a bit. feel like I just went on a roller coaster of emotions. We'll talk about that in a second. Let's first talk about if this was science-backed. So to do this, I want to talk about what I see as the main benefits of barre. Core stability, coordination, muscular endurance, improved posture, and increased flexibility and range of motion. Now, I talked a bit about barre on the Margaret Elizabeth review day, so we're not going to go too deep into anything that we talked about in that video. But just as a quick reminder, barre gets confused a lot with Pilates, but it is a completely different practice. Barre pulls from ballet, Pilates, and yoga, and while there is overlap, it is not the same form of movement or style of movement. Now, I said in that other video that there is no like overarching governing force around barre, but there is around Pilates, and I got a few comments that were kind of confused because I said something about like incorporated entity, and that isn't actually quite right. So I just want to clarify where I'm coming from with that. The way that I view it, and most professionals view it, is that Pilates is a very specific method that you do really need to study. Yes, there are different teacher trainings, just like yoga, but let's say if you want to teach at like a yoga or Pilates studio, I don't know of anywhere that will hire you without a certification. On the flip side, most people who teach barre that I know don't have any type of barre certification. So that's the big difference in my eyes, and we'll just kind of leave it at that. Now, Adrienne, the owner of Barre Eclipse, not only has multiple certifications herself, but she also does offer her own certification through Barre Eclipse. From the research that I've done, it is one of the top tier ones in my opinion. That is based off of nothing except my own research in the years. So I do love the fact that she really does value continuing education. So I want to go back to what I said about the benefits that I see in barre. And unfortunately, very often, you don't see those being advertised at all, or you see them being advertised in a very sneaky, manipulative way. Here are the 3 ways that I most commonly see barre marketed, and we're going to talk about why it's bullshit. 3 common claims I see of barre a lot is that you'll gain a dancer physique, you'll get long, lean muscles, and you'll get a toned body. So let's start first with a dancer physique. First of all, what the heck does that mean? That's just like code for skinny. If you dance, you have a dancer body. Congratulations. The dancer physique that always gets referenced is a like traditional ballerina body, which is typically tall, very thin, and pretty low body fat so that you can see the muscle definition underneath. So much of what determines if you can have that dancer physique is actually your genetics. Your genetics will determine where your body prefers to hold and lose fat. It will determine the literal length of your bones. And unfortunately, even though Tracy Anderson disagrees with me, you cannot change your genetics. Now, do I want you to sit here and think that like your genetics are like the end all be all? No, you can work with your genetics. There's that saying that I always forget whenever I go to say it. And then I remember it's like a gun related one. I don't like talking about pew-pews for the algorithm, but it's basically like genetics load the pew-pew, but you pull the trigger. Meaning your genetics influence a lot, but then your lifestyle habits will kind of see how it plays out, right? I have always been built a little bit more athletic. I'm short, I don't have a lot of room between origin and insertion points of my muscles, and honestly, the only time where anyone has ever told me that I've had a physique like this was when I was literally sick. So let's just put that into perspective. We have to remember that there's a reason why people with ballerina bodies are ballerinas, or many of them. It's because of their genetics, and they had an easier time growing up as they were doing these things for a path into becoming a professional dancer, a professional ballerina. You can say the exact same thing with swimmers in the Olympics. You can say the exact same thing with gymnasts. I missed my calling to be a gymnast. Everyone always asks me, oh, you're a gymnast. Nope, just was built like one. Mom never put me in it. You can say the same thing about a linebacker. Like your genetics are going to give you an easier time at things that you maybe want to be good at. And I'm not saying that hard work means nothing. I'm simply reminding you for the sake of your mental health that you do not need to look like a ballerina. And unless your genetics are built for you that way, a barre workout will not do it. And again, by look like a ballerina, I mean that old, outdated idea of what dancers look like. Long, lean muscles. We kind of already talked about this with me as an example, but you can't change the length of your muscle. A lot of people think you can with stretching, but really all stretching is doing is telling your neuromuscular system that this is a safe position to be in. We won't go into like, what is it, like Golgi organ tendon or whatever? I don't remember. But essentially, if you put a muscle into a lengthened position, if that's not a familiar position to you, your body at first is going to go, oh, stop, I'm going to get hurt. But if you can sit in that for 30 seconds, 60 seconds, 2 minutes, your body will eventually relax into that stretched position. A lot of people like think that they're actually lengthening their muscles. They're not. Because to physically lengthen a muscle, you would have to change the origin and insertion point of your bones. Between different strengthening drills, drills, mobilization drills, breathing drills. If something is out of place or not in the right position, you can get things back into place. For instance, your pelvis, for instance, your scapula. But again, we're not changing the length of the muscle in a way that will make you look like a dancer in that old age idea of what a dancer looks like. I'm making this distinction and all of these little caveats because I've talked about this at length before and people are always like, well, technically. And I'm like, yeah, but that's not what people are talking about. That's not what this marketing is, okay? Anyway, the other part of this long, lean muscles thing that just annoys the crap out of me is that it is always attacking this idea of like women are gonna get bulky if they lift heavy weights or if they strength train. Number one, getting bulky is harder to achieve than you think it is. Number two, bulky literally means something different to everybody. Like everyone has a different idea in their head of what that looks like, right? Also, like, what are we talking about? Are we talking fat mass? Are we talking muscle mass? I get comments all the time that tell me that I'm bulky. Number one, stop using that as an insult. Number two, stop commenting on my body. Number three, who the fuck cares? I do not have an issue with wanting to achieve an aesthetic result. No problem with that. It's your body. You do whatever the heck you want with it. But if you are choosing that out of fear, misinformation, or deceptive marketing, I'm gonna try and explain to you what the heck's going on. Last claim is a toned body. I've talked about the word toned a lot. I'm kind of at this point where I view it as a word where I'm like, okay, if someone says they want to tone up, I know what that means. So I'm not gonna be like, well, actually, you can't tone a muscle, which is true. Like you have muscle tone. The only thing you can do with a muscle is build it or ignore it and it's gonna shrink. But really what toned physique means is like you have a low enough body fat percentage to see muscle. That's all that toned means. You can achieve this by having a very low body fat percentage. You could also achieve this by building up the muscle underneath the fat layers that you have, so you don't have to get to such a low body fat percentage. In my opinion, that's a better quality of life. Everyone's different though. So that leads me into bar and the science behind it. Can you build muscle in a bar workout? Yeah. It just depends on the programming. And when I say it depends on the programming, I mean it depends on that specific program. It depends on the programs you're doing in a week. It depends on the programs you're doing in a month, in a year, long term. It depends on the programs in relation to your current strength. There's a lot that goes into that statement. Remember we talked about at some point in this whole Vlogmas series, muscle hypertrophy or visible muscle growth can actually happen outside of that traditional way of training, 3 to 5 sets, 6 to 12 reps. For most people though, it will take longer. And I will say that a lot of the influencers pushing bar, Pilates, yoga with their dancer physique, toned bodies, long, lean muscles, more than likely did not acquire that body in that way. A lot of what happens is either genetics or they required that body at the last big trend, which was strength training. And now this is maintenance for them. I'm just throwing it out there. Marketing around these forms of movement that are, God, I'm gonna make a whole video on this because this is now becoming trendy. More feminine, what the heck does that even mean? But many times they're very deceptive, very manipulative, and they are preying on our insecurities that are literally thrown into our brains every single day in society. I was gonna talk about another thing, but I feel like it's not even relative anymore, and I just kind of want to talk about this workout really quickly. In terms of science-backed, what was I looking for? I was looking for a bar workout without any silly claims. Adrienne delivered. Marketing and the coaching had nothing to do with any of those red flags that I see around this type of workout, and I really appreciated that. So I'm gonna give this a 5 out of 5. Let's talk enjoyment. I feel like I went on a roller coaster of emotions. I started and I was like, ooh, I get to get on my ballet bar. I haven't used this in so long. This is gonna feel so good. And then within a minute, I was like, holy hell. And then a minute later, I was like, oh my God, Adrienne's such a good coach. And I'm like, God damn, this is a pain in the ass. Literally. I really went through it in 12 minutes. In terms of the actual workout, Adrienne did a fantastic job of coaching. This was a live stream and recorded workout, and she did a great job of like playing to the camera, but then also getting the people tuning in live kind of involved. There was a lot of calling out names. She'd come over the camera, ask for a high five. She just made me smile and like want to push through. And we talked about this on the Move with Nicole Day. Like really this isn't my preferred method of movement. I don't really enjoy it with my goals and the time that I have and the results that I want to see and feel. I just prefer traditional strength training. And I think that's okay. We're all allowed to have our own preferences and differences. But as a coach, the thing that I want to see you be accountable for are how you talk about your product, how you market it, and how you make people feel. And Adrienne never once made me feel inferior. She never once made me feel like I have to do this workout or else nothing else is ever going to work for me. And I felt really supported throughout the entire workout. And that is the sign of a great coach, no matter what modality you teach. So I am going to give this 4 out of 5 for enjoyment, only because I don't really like Barre, but she did get like an extra point or 2 in there just because she was so good. Let's pick tomorrow's workout. I feel like I'm out of practice. Okay, tomorrow's workout is I don't know how to say this. Libby Stark, a kettlebell workout. All right, there seems to be a lot of stuff here. I wish I knew how to say this person's name. I'm gonna have to figure it out by tomorrow. So tomorrow we're gonna do some kettlebells. Very excited about that. Thank you all so much for watching today. Make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss out on the last few videos of Vlogmas, and I will see you all tomorrow. Bye.